Guys, they just did it. They did it. You're not going to believe this. They just admitted that the abortion pill is a dangerous weapon and a poisonous substance. Stranger than fiction. You're not going to believe this story. A man tricked ex-girlfriend, dropped the abortion pill in her drink, and he's now been indicted for attempted poisoning, assault, and battery with a dangerous weapon on a pregnant person last month in November, and is now being prosecuted this month. This story is the most insane, what's the great conservative consolation? That reality always reasserts itself in the end. And I add to that reality will slap you in the face every time. Eventually it will happen. And I want front row seats, baby. I want front row seats. I want extra large popcorn. I want lots of salted, unhealthy butter all over that popcorn and an extra large Dr. Pepper. I'm here for it all when reality come and just boom, slaps the liberal establishment and the legacy news media and the abortion industrial complex in the face. And maybe with this story, the common sense American who lives in reality will start going, being pro-choice is kind of a weird thing. I don't really get it. I can't reconcile these discrepancies. We'll get into it all. Welcome to the Seth Gruber Show.
Over 1 million children were killed in 2023 in America.
Children are always the unconsenting subjects of progressive social experiments.
What if the culture war was just a proxy war for the spiritual war? What if Satan masqueraded his demonic assault against the image of God as just a science and just a politics to keep the politically impotent pastors silent?
We live in the culture of death called, why is abortion demonic? Because Jesus came for you to have life. The devil came to steal and kill and destroy.
We won't do for good what the other side is so zealously willing to do for wickedness.
Join us at Life or Death Con on January 23rd in Washington, D.C. Head over to lifeordeathcon.com to get tickets today.
So did you guys catch that? I mean, I keep telling you, we want you to come to Life or Death Con in Washington, D.C. on January 23rd. January 23rd, a few days after the inauguration and the day before the National March for Life in Washington, D.C. lifeordeathcon.com. If you are listening on audio and you missed some of the speakers in that video, Dr. George Grant, Dr. Nancy Piercy, Eric Metaxas, Allie Beth Stuckey, Joshua Broom, Isabel Brown, myself, Pastor Gary Hamrick, Pastor Landon Schott. It's going to be an incredible lineup. Okay, we're bringing together some of my favorite, and I think actually some of the best thought leaders, activists, and engagers of culture in the country, because we need the church to lead now. Trump is a tourniquet. He helps stop some of the bleeding so that we have time as the bride of Christ to do the kind of work that we were called to do from the beginning. And it all starts with children, with babies, the family. If we can't preserve that, we'll lose everything else. That was always the church's job. lifeordeathcon.com. And if you're an ally of the White Rose Resistance at $35 a month or more, you get a free ticket. Get your ticket now before it's too late. Only 1,000 spots. All right. So is it only wrong to abort babies when men do it? And did the culture and the libs just admit that that the abortion pill is actually a dangerous, poisonous weapon? This story is so insane. And every once in a while, a story will crop up in the culture. It's either like it's a legal case, it's a lawsuit, or it's like a law that's passed. Like there was this law passed in Colorado that we covered at one point that just completely showed all the internal contradictions of being pro-choice. It's really the schizophrenia of being pro-choice. And this story is another one of those stories. And I'm so grateful when these sort of stories crop up, because just by covering the story, the liberal establishment, the legacy news media, makes the pro-life case for us. They expose the internal contradictions of the entire pro-choice position, and I love it. I'm here for all of it. So a Brookline man, that's a city in Massachusetts, who prosecutors said tricked a woman he was dating into taking abortion pills by telling her that they were iron pills, was indicted last month in Middlesex Superior Court in Massachusetts, last month being November. His name is Kawada. Kawada and the woman were dating when she got pregnant. Once he found out about the pregnancy, Kawada ordered abortion pills, mifepristone and misoprostol, online. Kawada told the woman the medication was iron pills as a way to trick her into taking them, the lawyer said. The woman trusted this gentleman named Kawada, as his dad was an obstetrics and gynecology doctor, okay? So this chick's dating a dude, and the dude's dad is an OBGYN. So she's like, oh, yeah, I mean, thanks for the iron pill since I'm pregnant. Robert Kawada, 43, listen to this, was charged with attempted poisoning, assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. Listen to me. This is the court's language, okay? Assault and battery with a dangerous weapon on a pregnant person, because you can't call them women, right? In November, Middlesex County District Attorney Marion Ryan said. Now, when I first read this, I was like, this is too good. Like, this is too good. You did not just call the abortion pill a poisonous, dangerous weapon. Surely there's another part to the story. No, I'm telling you, guys, I thought that there was another part to the story. I thought that maybe there was another incident, like later that same day, where he had, like, you know, a rod, right? Or a knife, and he, like, attacked her or something. Oh, no. The whole story is only revolving around his action of dropping the abortion pill into his ex-girlfriend's drink. Okay, so listen to this. Now, wait a second. Did they just say that the RU-486 abortion pill is now poisoning and labeling it a dangerous weapon? But wait, the abortion industry and lobby and every Democrat in the Senate basically says that the abortion pill is super safe. Former Planned Parenthood president Cecile Richards, was the most brutal president of Planned Parenthood in terms of babies killed. She's actually dying of cancer right now. Just hope she repents. She actually said that the abortion pill is safer than Tylenol in a Los Angeles opinion editorial from a few years ago. The abortion industry claims that these pills are so safe, that during COVID lockdowns, they argued for and successfully achieved mail order services for all abortion pills in all 50 states. They're so safe, they argued, that women can manage do-it-yourself at-home abortions and flush the contents, the little people, down the toilet. That's how safe they were. They argued in 2020. I covered it on the show back when it was called Unaborted, okay? We covered this. In 2020, they argued that women needed do-it-yourself at-home abortions because COVID is so dangerous and deadly that she couldn't meet with a physician before getting permission, right, to get the prescribed abortion pills. But the abortion industry and the liberal establishment argued in 2020 that the abortion pill was so safe, the mother did not need an in-person evaluation with a physician before she got the abortion pills, because that's how safe this thing is. I mean, come on, trust the president of Planned Parenthood who said it's safer than Tylenol. By the way, this is from Planned Parenthood's website. Check this out. I pulled this today. This is from Planned Parenthood's website. Quote, medication abortion is very safe. In fact, it's safer than many other medicines like penicillin, Tylenol, and Viagra. It's safer even than those. In fact, 1 month after Mr. Kawada was charged with poisoning, assault, and battery with a dangerous weapon for sneaking an abortion pill into his ex-girlfriend's drink, CNN published an article entitled, "How Safe is the Abortion Pill Compared with Other Common Drugs?" And here's what they wrote, all right? But first, we'd like to thank our sponsor of the Seth Gruber Show, Every Life Diaper. Do you have little ones still pooping in their pants? You need everylife.com. It's the only pro-life diaper company, right? If we're going to defeat woke corporatism and the culture of death, then we have to care as much about fighting with our dollars as the left does to fight for their vices with their dollars. Do you understand what I'm saying? Major corporations and companies that are in the baby industry support abortion. So if you want to defund a culture of death, you're going to have to actually invest in a culture of life. Do that by going to everylife.com, promo code SETH10 for 10% off your first order of diapers and wipers. And now Every Life has shampoos, conditioners, baby soaps, okay? Everylife.com. Make sure you get your diapers, your wipes for your babies. You got grandkids, okay? You got nieces or nephews having babies. You got your nursery at your church. Tell them, everylife.com. Promo code SETH10 for 10% off your first order, and let them know that we sent you and you're supporting our sponsors, which supports the Seth Gruber Show and the White Rose Resistance. Go to everylife.com. Thank you for being a sponsor of the Seth Gruber Show. Here's the Communist News Network. They said, comparatively, the risk of death by penicillin is 4 times greater than it is for mifepristone, according to a study on life-threatening allergic reactions. Risk of death by taking Viagra, used to treat erectile dysfunction, is nearly 10 times greater, according to a study cited in the amicus brief filed by the FDA. So CNN, 1 month, I think it was like 25 days or something, after Mr. Kawada was charged with poisoning, assault, and battery with a dangerous weapon for slipping an abortion pill into his ex-girlfriend's water drink, less than a month after that, CNN goes, oh my gosh, don't you know Viagra is 10 times more dangerous than the abortion pill, than medication abortion, than RU486. So like, that's what they've been saying this whole time. But a dude slips an abortion pill, the very same thing that we were just told is 10 times safer than getting a boner with Viagra. They say that now it's a dangerous, poisonous, what was it? A poisoning, assault, and battery with a dangerous weapon. So now it's a poisonous, dangerous weapon when the father slips it into the drink of the mother's water. But when she takes it, it's 10 times safer than Viagra. I'm confused. Can someone help me here? So in less than 1 month, we are simultaneously told that a father who kills his unborn child through an abortion pill is guilty of poisoning, assault, and battery with a dangerous weapon. But a mother who kills the same unborn child is exercising her fundamental right to health care and is safer than you are when you take Tylenol for a migraine. What's the phrase? Make it make sense. By the way, just as an aside, we've talked about this before on the show, but it bears repeating because so many pro-lifers get tricked by the lies of the abortion industry when it comes to the alleged safety of abortion for the women, okay? The obvious answer, of course, to this whole thing is that the abortion pill is neither safe for the baby that it murders or the mother who takes it. Just a quick briefer on this, okay? Mifepristone was approved, so mifepristone is the first regimen of the abortion pill, and then misoprostol forces your uterus to have contractions to expel the baby that's been killed. Mifepristone was approved in September 2000 with prescribing restrictions because the FDA felt that the restrictions were necessary to, quote, ensure safe use of this product. These restrictions included a requirement that Danko Laboratories, the manufacturer, report all serious adverse events to the FDA. What's an adverse event? A complication that the mother experiences after taking the abortion pill. In order for Danko Laboratories to have the data about adverse events, the abortionist would have to have reported them to Danko, and there is no way to know that this was or is being done in any way. Any care for post-abortive complications and problems that is given by, like, private non-abortionist OBGYNs or in emergency rooms is unlikely to have ever been reported to Danko Laboratories. And the majority of such care is actually rendered in those settings, meaning non-abortionist OBGYNs or emergency rooms. So the data that Danko has reported to the FDA cannot be considered to be complete or comprehensive in any way. They wouldn't have the vast majority of the adverse events that are happening because the women who are having adverse events after taking the abortion pill is not being reported to the abortionist, who's the only one required to report it to the manufacturer in the first place, who then reports it to the FDA, which is how the abortion industry allegedly argues that the data set at the FDA proves the safety of the abortion pill. Did that make any sense? Despite these limitations, a study was undertaken by APLOG, right, the American Association of Pro-Life Obstetricians and Gynecologists, and they requested the adverse events reports regarding mifepristone from the FDA. The FDA actually gave the American Association of Pro-Life Obstetricians and Gynecologists 6,158 pages of adverse events reports due to women taking the mifepristone first regimen of the abortion pill. Duplicate records from outside the US, or reports of data that were previously published were excluded. So this left APLOG with 3,197 reports, of which 537 had insufficient data for meaningful analysis. Of the 2,660 remaining reports, a standardized system was used to analyze the seriousness of the complications by a panel of physicians who agreed to review the records. 2,243 women required surgery to treat complications of the abortion pill. So let me say this again. Of the 2,260 remaining reports, 2,243 of those women required surgery to treat complications of the abortion pill. And more than 60% of those, of what? Surgeries due to complications. More than 60% of those were done by MDs other than the ones who provide abortion services. So nearly 2/3 of the women whose reported complications required surgery had to seek care outside of the abortion clinic. And anyone outside of the abortion clinic is not required to report any of the adverse events to Danco, the manufacturer, who then reports it to the FDA. That is the massive gaping data hole that is just like simply not there. So this is super interesting. Wait a second. Mr. Kawada's ex-girlfriend can legally kill her unborn child through an abortion pill in Massachusetts and be celebrated in the process. So understand this. Listen to this. This is super important. When the court has charged this individual, this 38-year-old man named Kawada, when the court charges him with poisoning, assault, and battery with a dangerous weapon, he is not being prosecuted for any crimes against the unborn child. I hope that's clear. For that child has no right to life in the state of Massachusetts anyways. The language of poisoning, assault, and battery with a dangerous weapon is language describing his actions against his ex-girlfriend and not his actions against their unborn offspring. Is this starting to make sense? Are you starting to see where the internal contradictions begin to arise? So if Mr. Kawada's ex-girlfriend puts the same abortion pill in her drink, it's safer than Tylenol. But if Mr. Kawada puts the exact same abortion pill in the exact same glass of water, that abortion pill suddenly and magically becomes poison, assault, and battery with a dangerous weapon. Fascinating, right? How is it that the gender of the individual who drops the pill into the water determines the relative safety or danger of that pill for the woman taking it? It's starting to sound like some kind of kooky, weird religious paganism, huh? Yes, exactly. Exactly. Let me make sure you catch what I'm trying to communicate here. When a woman takes the abortion pill and willfully kills her baby, it's safer than Tylenol or Viagra for her. But when her boyfriend and the father of the child drops the same abortion pill into the same glass of water in the same cup, and she drinks from it, now it's a poisonous assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. But that unborn child doesn't have a right to life in Massachusetts. For the mother can legally kill that child and probably have it paid for by tax dollars. So whatever crime Mr. Kawada is guilty of, those crimes don't apply to the child who has no protections in our laws anyways. The crimes being alleged are crimes against her, the mother. And the language of those crimes is poisoning, assault, and battery with a dangerous weapon. Wait, what? I'm so confused. This thing was supposed to be safer than Tylenol. But now he's poisoning his ex-girlfriend and he's attacking her with a dangerous weapon? Now, listen, the left's response to this, of course, would revolve around informed consent and choice. or bodily autonomy, right? They would insist that it's wrong only because the ex-girlfriend did not consent to the abortion, right? He forced her to have an abortion without her knowledge or consent. But this is not enough. This does not suffice. Would Mr. Kawada be charged with poisoning, assault, and battery with a dangerous weapon if he snuck Tylenol into her drink instead of RU-486? Is this too much common sense for pro-choicers? Of course not. Of course he wouldn't. He would not be charged with battery, poisoning, and assault with a dangerous weapon if he snuck the recommended dosage of Tylenol into his ex-girlfriend's drink. But he did slip the recommended dosage of the abortion pill into his ex-girlfriend's drink, a dosage and a medication which we're told is safer than Tylenol and Viagra. Now, he might be charged with something for sneaking Tylenol into his ex-girlfriend's drinks without consent or knowledge, but not with poisoning and assault with a dangerous weapon. A dangerous weapon? Who thinks that the recommended dosage of Tylenol is a dangerous weapon? Listen to this. Follow this. If Tylenol is more dangerous than the abortion pill, which is what they tell us, they say the abortion pill is safer than Tylenol. The other way to say the same thing is to say Tylenol is more dangerous than the abortion pill. If that's the case, and the abortion pill is now a dangerous poison weapon, then dude, I gotta get me some Tylenol. I mean, dude, a mixture of Tylenol and Viagra is sure to destroy anyone who tries to sneak into my house in the middle of the night. So if Tylenol is more dangerous, okay, let's see, than medication abortion, then that must mean Mr. Kawada would be charged with even greater and more horrible crimes if he snuck Tylenol instead of medication abortion into his ex-girlfriend's drink, right? Because Tylenol's more dangerous than that medication abortion. That's what they told us. And remember, these are not crimes against the unborn child. The child has no right to life, and they have no protections in the state of Massachusetts. So this language is only applying to the ex-girlfriend, for whom this medication is now a dangerous assault poison weapon. But when she slips it into her drink, it's safer than Tylenol. Yes, liberalism deserves to be mocked. Yes, some ideas deserve to be laughed and mocked at. Are you starting to see it, by the way? Do you see what the answer to all this is, by the way? After all these internal contradictions and inconsistencies, what is the answer? What's the resolution to all of this? It's all about the baby. It's always been all about the baby. It's the fact that there is another human being in this equation, the presence of a baby, that makes the language of poison, assault, and battery with a dangerous weapon start to make sense, huh? Otherwise, it makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. That a woman who takes the identical form of medication is doing something safer than Tylenol for a migraine. But when the father does it and kills the unborn baby, which isn't supposed to endanger her life, right? Same medication, and when she takes it, it's safer than Viagra or Tylenol. So whatever medication abortion he is giving to his ex-girlfriend without her consent or knowledge, it is no threat to her. Now, obviously, I gave you the data, it is, but that's the left's claims. It's so safe for her. It's so safe for her. So why are we using the language of poisoning and assault with a dangerous weapon? It can't suddenly become dangerous in the lexicon of liberalism because the dude who gave her the abortion medication has a phallus. The only way to understand this story, the only thing that makes this story start to make sense is when you realize we all know we're killing babies. We all know it. Okay? CNN knows it. NBC knows it. I mean, many of these groups covered this story, by the way. We all know we're killing babies. And sometimes a story like this forces subconscious admission of that fact. And it's beautiful. It's wonderful. Because reality always reasserts itself in the end. It always slaps you in the face in the end. Because there is an objective reality. There is a divine logic to the universe. There's a moral lawgiver who wrote eternity on the hearts of man. And sometimes stories like this, the pro-abortion public doesn't know what to do with it because they can sense that his actions, Mr. Kawada's actions, are wrong. But they can't explain that or rationalize that within their own worldview because there's always that baby. There's always that baby that confuses the entire culture, the entire establishment. It screws up the formula of secular materialism, right? And so share this story, laugh at this story, and get the truth out. If it is wrong for Mr. Kawada to kill his unborn offspring, then why is it okay for the ex-girlfriend and the mother to do so? Ironically, of course, the left will attempt to defend this prosecution against Mr. Kawada by saying that the ex-girlfriend in question did not consent. They'll say, that's why I'm pro-choice. It's bodily autonomy. So the mother has the bodily autonomy and the informed consent to make that decision. And if she makes that decision, then it's okay. But he, Mr. Kawada, without a uterus, who's not growing and gestating the baby, doesn't have the right to do that because it's not his body. Ironically, such a defense of Mr. Kawada's prosecution and indictment actually gives away the whole game. Exactly. Do all human beings have a right to bodily autonomy and informed consent? When did your bodily autonomy begin? When you became human? Makes sense. It's hard to draw that line anywhere else. I mean, even Democrats in America, by the way, only 13, according to Gallup, only 13% of the public supports the legality of third trimester abortions. So the vast majority of the voting Democrat base in America does not think that third trimester abortions should be legal. So they clearly believe that the very developed unborn baby has bodily autonomy, that they shouldn't be killed then. But you can't just arbitrarily draw the line there. The only place it makes sense is to draw the line at conception. So the whole thing about like men should not be able to kill their unborn babies against the knowledge or consent of their ex-girlfriend or wife gives away the whole game, because if she has bodily autonomy and the right to informed consent, then all human beings should have the right to bodily autonomy, to not have their body be abused, manipulated, or dismembered and dissected. And if we have that right because we're human, then the unborn child has that right as well. What's the takeaway here? They just admitted that the RU-486 abortion pill is a poisonous, dangerous assault weapon. I completely agree. You're absolutely right. Let's ban the whole thing. All right, Trump? All right? Make the right decision. Appoint the right people and make it an agenda to make the abortion pill illegal in America, which is the 63% of abortions right now. Let's get rid of the whole thing. And if we can win some victories by proving how dangerous it is to mothers, I'll take it. But we have to communicate to the public that it is wrong to kill unborn babies, not because it's dangerous to the mothers getting the abortions, but because the child has a right to life, like every human being does, like you and I did from the moment that we came into existence. They just admitted it. They just told you the abortion pill is not safer than Tylenol or Viagra. It's a poisonous, dangerous assault weapon. Assault weapon. So let's ban it. Thanks for tuning in to the Seth Gruber Show today. Head on over to iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. Give the show a rating and review. Let us know what you think. We appreciate the comments. Go to Rumble, subscribe in case YouTube ever cuts me off for talking about too much about reality, slapping us in the face. go to the1916project.com. If you haven't picked up the book, pick up the book and host a screening at your home church. Tell your pastor to host a screening of the 1916 Project at your church. Early in the new year, we will have a curriculum multi-6-part series of unused footage from the film, unused interviews from the film, a roundtable discussion, and curriculum for Bible studies and home groups and Christian education. And so if you want to support what we're doing at the White Rose Resistance, we're launching chapters around the country. 4 babies have just been saved recently. We just shut down an abortion facility from opening on Saturdays in the city of Denver, Colorado. We're launching new chapters. We're doing Life or Death Con in Washington, D.C. on January 23rd to get the church engaged. If you want to be a part of that, go to thewhiterose.life and become an ally at $35 a month or more. You get a free ticket to Life or Death Con in Washington, D.C. if you become an ally or greater. And at Air Support, $70 a month, you join our Books in the Barracks book club. And in January, we'll be reading Shepherds for Sale by Megan Basham. And I think she'll join our live call with our supporters. Thank you guys for being a part of rebuilding Christian resistance and supporting the Seth Gruber Show. Until next week, I'm Seth Gruber, and this is the Seth Gruber Show.